Hi guys, I'm ExactChaos and this is Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. This is the trash update and this video is going to have a bit of a look at what is new in the trash update, at least my perspective on a few of these things. I will add straight away that I'm by no means an expert and there's still plenty of stuff I need to learn around how this all works. But as you can see, we've got a trash collection facility over here. So let's quickly, before we jump into too much detail about trash itself, let's quickly see about a few other things in the game. And the first thing is research. Now, if you're playing, and obviously all of these things, as if I go into settings here, you can see about enabling research, and all of these other things. Trash is not in here though. Maintenance and waste management is in there. Okay, so you can see a lot of stuff is in there now, and you can obviously switch them on and off as you see fit. Now, research. Let's talk about research for a minute. So here we've got a university. It is a small headquarters of the party, so it's a specific type of university, and you can see there's a bit of research available to do there. You can also have a bit of a look in, you've now got these advisors, and I think this is super cool because it's now kind of replicating what a tutorial would do. You've got people telling you what the various things are. You've got these members of the party that would tell you why rubles and dollars and how to use them and what citizens' demands are and how all of those things work. There used to be stuff like that, how to do construction, what the various forms of transport looks like, and all of these things has got tons of information in there. So awesome how that works. The other cool thing about the advisors, messages now typically come from advisors. So citizens are, their happiness is too low, comes from a specific advisor. Irina Sokolova, the Minister of Propaganda. So it just feels a little bit more natural to see something like that. There's plenty of stuff in the advisors, but let's quickly talk about the research first. So if you go to the commissioned scientist over here, that is where you can see research. And so now you can see there's virology, vaccine development, citizen vaccination, preventative medicine, heart attack prevention, stroke prevention, first aid education. So all of these kind of things makes a difference, right? So this will mean it'll have an impact on your health. So what does that say? Get citizens vaccinated to reduce the next pandemic event by 30 to 50%. Stuff like that. This one is, this should reduce departures of ambulances by 10%. So for heart attacks, and the same here with strokes, another 10% off of ambulance load. Should increase the time 6 citizens can survive until an ambulance comes. So it's all kind of interesting little things. So you can see lots of little things there. Vitamins, I'm assuming that makes them more resistant. Oh, more resistant to pollution. Increased birth rate, decreased birth rate. Alcohol standards, less negative effect for using alcohol. Now you get, so that's all at a medical university. That's what these say. Medical university is the white background, the blue background is technical university, and then party headquarters is red. And there are tons of things over here. Okay, so that's an interesting one. And one of them that I wanted to talk about, you have to now research almost everything. even if we have a look at, let's quickly say, so trash sorting and things like that, you have to research. The fertilization, there's so many different things. That's airports and air travel and tourists and so on. Here you will see logistics optimization, and then from there you can do distribution offices. Now, that's an interesting thing. So people who start the game in the realistic mode will have a fairly hard time if you still have to do a lot of research, especially if you have to build all your universities to make that happen. Now, in terms of distribution offices, there is, in fact, let's have a quick look here. Distribution offices over here. You can see, and this is another bit of a tip there. So these are blocked under that research. So we can't get these small distribution office and medium distribution office because it's blocked by that research there. But somehow you can see that the free one is still available. So you can still build a number of them. Okay. And I would encourage you to do the same with some other things. There's stuff that might be behind the research, and then other stuff in the same category that's not. So don't just have a look at this icon over here. Also, kind of have a drill down in there to see if there's something else that might be available. So please just do that. Now, what you will also see, let's quickly go over here. The availability of early flats is really limited because we still have to research prefabs. So we can basically have a little bit of brick constructions that we can use. The rest is all behind research. So definitely something to bear in mind. It's going to be quite challenging, even radio stations and the likes. So if you're going to have early challenges with what is it called, government loyalty, you will need to get your research going pretty quickly. So that's something that'll be quite challenging in a realistic mode, at least. So here you can see we've already made a few, we've already done some, well, you can't see it here, but you've now got some things like fire prevention, and there's my distribution office research that needs to start happening. So you need to do that. Then also I've got a technical university over here, and we're busy doing the faculty of geology over there. So it's quite an interesting little concept that we do there. Okay, so it's going to make it challenging, and you will probably have to build all of your universities fairly quickly on. Oh, and one of the other massive challenges, and that's why I'm doing the faculty of geology, is you will not see any resources. So I've started, let me open up this nice and wide. I've started a little town in the middle of the map here, and I can't see where any of my resources is. So if you're truly playing realistic mode where you still have to do this research, you won't know you're close to coal or iron or oil or whatever you would like to use to actually drive your economy. So your economy would be pretty limited until you've got the research, which is why I'm doing the faculty of geology over here. So I can go to geological maps and find where our various things are. And still then we'll only be able to see coal, iron and oil. The uranium and bauxite is different research altogether. Buildings now generate trash in the form of like mixed waste or something like that. I'll stop. Oh, here it's happening. So you could either, through technical services, and let's come and hover over this guy, you can either come and collect directly from these buildings, or you can collect from these. So if you have a look at these, what is it called actually? It is called a stand for big garbage containers, right? So what that is basically doing, it is collecting hang on. This one is collecting the garbage from all of these buildings around it, so that there's basically a centralized collection point for the trash vehicles, which is at the technical services building, right? So you've got snow plows here, you've got water and sewage vehicles potentially here, and now you've also got garbage vehicles here, or waste vehicles here, and they will need a place to come and, well, they will automatically come and collect within this radius, but then you need to allocate places where they can actually go and dump stuff. And until such time as you actually research sorting, you'll just get mixed waste, and you'll need to go and dump that in a incinerator or something. And we'll talk a little bit about all those kind of things in the future, but or in a little while. But that's really one of the key things that you'll need to bear in mind. Now, some of the other things that's quite interesting, if we have a look at the UI is much, much better in the sense that now you actually know why happiness is going up or going down. So if we have a look at this, so our happiness is at 73%. We still got the basic information as to whether it's clothing or sport or government loyalty, but now it's saying what is the rate of change. So we can see happiness is slowly trickling down. And why is it trickling down? Well, 378 people or 386 people is unhappy because they're not able to drink alcohol. So that's quite a significant impact to their happiness. And then you've got people unable to get clothing. So at least you can see it's only 16 people affected by the clothing thing. So it's probably a minor thing that you'll just have to keep an eye on. And then you've got a little bit of low government loyalty, and one person couldn't practice sports. So it's really, you can see actually the big numbers there, like the 386 and so on, unable to drink alcohol. Now you can actually see what makes that up. The same is true for health, which is something that I'm very happy about. I've always struggled with what is actually having an impact on my health. I've always thought maybe it's the alcohol addiction or something like that. But really what we need to have a look at is this. And now it's telling you that 392 is having a negative impact due to drinking alcohol. I didn't know we have alcohol here. But anyway, and then stroke or heart attack is been an issue for 8 people. And so at least you can see, but luckily our health is slowly going in the upward trend. So that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Now we've talked a little bit about the advisors, but there's also some general other overlays. So some of the new overlays, I think they're all over here, is, let's look at it from this side. Productivity is now one. So it doesn't actually show you, I think that it doesn't show you when you've got a good productivity, right? I think all productivity is actually indicated. Yeah, so 100% productivity is indicated over there. It can now give you a bit of an indication through the overlay if your productivity is starting to drop down. So that's a nice extra little feature for us to have a look at. The next one down is waste, so we can see where the buildup of waste is actually occurring. And now you can see waste seems to be going into these buildings, into these pickup points only, and it's not actually showing waste for the buildings. So these kind of buildings aren't showing any waste because they're actually moving their waste to these collection points. Okay, the next one down is wear and tear. We now have wear and tear on buildings, and that means we will use a construction office to also do some reconstruction works on buildings. So you can see once it's over 30% wear and tear, then some reconstruction will automatically happen from your construction office. So you will now definitely need construction offices all over, like you had technical services offices, because they will have to go and do maintenance. Machine replacement, I'm not too sure what that is, but we'll figure that out in due course. But anyway, now you can see wear and tear. I think it says the general lifespan of a building, 20 years. Building lifespan is 20 years. So it will slowly trickle down over that period of time. Okay, the next one over, let's have a quick look. We were over here. The next one over is now fertility. Now, fertility is a new thing. Here you can see your fields as fertility. Okay, and that's leading into a different thing that you will need to have a look at the end of when these things get harvested. You'll see that there's some fertility issues there, and now you actually need some fertilizers to ensure your fertility is up and running. So those are some of the new overlays that we're basically having a look at. Build menu. One thing that I saw here, if you have a look, open that up. Now you can assign, if you're assigning construction, you can assign the max number of workers without a construction office. So in our current playthrough and many of the others, when you start construction in the middle of the city, you would find half your workers end up on the construction site, even though there's no thing there, and we had to no materials there, and we had to basically start to manually drop down. If I just quickly put something in here, so let's say, we're going to build it ourselves. So let's get a little building. We'll just do that. Now, we used to manually have to decrease that. See, now it's 50. Now we had to manually do that. So if we now say we don't want any more than 10 in there, and if we do add another one, we just do that, it should automatically go to 10. And that is awesome. That's something that I think is quite a good little feature. Okay, now that we've had a look at some of the basic new features of the game, I've gone and unlocked all of the research, and so let's have a bit of a look at what is new. In the power infrastructure one, and we now have a foreign power connection. So we're not only limited to the power connections that we were provided at the start of the game, we also have access to new power connections. And that's not all. There's even some more interesting components there. So here I've built it. So you can now build your own power connection. So you click over here and you basically hover it over there and you build your own new power connection on any border. And again, that's something that's unlocked through research. Now, that means that you can import and export way more power as part of this. The other interesting one, if you go here to pipelines, you now have a foreign pipeline connection. So now you can pipe, export and pipe in and out oil and fuel and bitumen directly. So that's super cool. It's a nice new feature, and I think many players are going to love that, absolutely love that. Now, the next thing that's very interesting is one-lane roads. So now if we go into the road component, you can see one-lane, one-way roads. And that means you've got a fair bit of flexibility to start building nicer interchanges. You can really start building some interesting stuff. Look at this fairly conventional cloverleaf interchange that I've built over here. But the interesting thing is this one now includes service roads. So what you see basically here is I've added the extra one. This is just a standard 2-lane road that I made one way. And the line markings has changed a fair bit. You can see that now with that center line in there. But now what I've done is I've just added the additional one-way piece, and it's basically just did something like that. And then from there we started building everything out. And I did a service road there. We had our directional sections here. So this is a pretty cool cloverleaf interchange, and so really keen to see that. It doesn't look like you can have one-lane bridges yet. Maybe that's something that's on the cards a little bit later. And so I couldn't do a service road at the top there, but at least you can do ground level features like that. A next component that I found quite an interesting one is in the power infrastructure over here is you now have the ability to do priority switches. And I think this one was, yes. So now let's say we've got 2 high voltage power lines coming in here. So we can say from the input, we would prefer to take, and it kind of highlights the ones that you're working with, we'd prefer to take power from connection 3. So let's say you've got different areas producing power, one coal and one uranium or nuclear power, and you'd rather use the nuclear power first before the coal power, then you just set that to high priority. And similarly on the outbound, if you're servicing different areas, one is a low priority for you versus so maybe you've got a low priority to a border crossing where you're trying to sell power, and a medium or high priority into your towns, and that's the kind of thing. So now you can actually say who's going to get that power first, which I think is a very, very good new feature. You can do that on medium voltage switches as well as high voltage switches. The next one, and then we'll move over here to some of our new other buildings and facilities, but I would like to start by talking about one direction or directional factory connections. So you can now, in factory connections, make a change. You can switch it to this way, that way, two-way, that kind of thing. But it just makes things a little easier in terms of potentially managing in facilities that might take multiple resources from both the in and outbound connections, basically. So now you can do that. So you can still use two-way connections, but you can control that a little bit better. Now, let's get into all of the new stuff associated with waste. Here it is, right? This is a bit of a snapshot of most of the new things that we can see. Now, let's start with separation. So once you've researched it, you can now start separating your waste. So you will pick up waste, bring it to a dump like this, and then start separating it out. So here we can see this is a general separation. So what it does, it takes mixed waste, and then it again generates more mixed waste. But what it does, it takes construction waste out of that, metal scrap out of that, aluminum scrap out of that, and plastic waste out of that. That is then further processed in other facilities, such as a steel recycling plant, where you can see your metal scrap goes there and you get steel out on the other side. Or a scrap separation facility, which takes metal scrap and which takes mixed waste and generates metal scrap from that. So this one generates a lot of different things. Then you've got some specialist facilities where they only do one thing. So you take metal scrap, you make steel from it. Here you take mixed waste and you generate more mixed waste, or you generate mixed waste again, but you take the steel or the metal scrap from it so that you can further process it to create steel. You've also got facilities like aluminum separation, where you take aluminum, I think it's aluminum scrap. Actually, you take mixed waste and you get aluminum scrap from that. And then, of course, there's the further downstream piece where it takes the aluminum scrap and generates some aluminum for you in that specific facility. So there's a lot of stuff to get used to there, and I'm by no means fully aware of how all of these things work. I still need to figure it out a little bit. Here's an interesting one as well: construction waste, which can be generated from construction sites, but it can also be obtained through separating mixed waste. And we'll talk a little bit about demolition, which is another new feature later. So here we're basically taking construction waste and turning it into gravel. What do we have over here? This is a plastic recycling plant where we're taking plastic waste and regenerating plastic from there. And here we've got a waste treatment plant that takes hazardous waste and generates mixed waste from it. So as you can see there, mixed waste comes in a variety of different things. So if we have a look at this, the buildup is a little bit of construction waste, various parts of it. You can see the buildup: plastic waste, biological waste, fertilizer, burnable waste, etc. Now, the other thing that you can obviously do once you have your mixed waste fully sorted and you don't need to run it through separation anymore, you can then start burning it for various reasons. You can just have incineration facilities like this, where it's just basically burnt, and what that would generate is ash. And I understand ash dissipates over time, but you will need to kind of store that or something. So how that works is another thing that I'm not too clear on, but it seems pretty complex and something that you need to figure out. Or you can do things like power plant. You can generate power basically from waste. So in burning waste, again, you'll be generating lots of ash and maybe some other bits and pieces, but you can generate power from it. And if we go in here, there's also a heating plant. Right? So here's all of these things, right? The basic separation, then a number of recycling plants, gravel, which is the construction material, plastic, steel, aluminum, and the waste treatment facility. You've got a variety of different types of incinerators for power and for heating. And then you've got a lot of different facilities where you can, where you can just store various types of waste. But the other one that's of interest, of course, is scrapping facilities. Let's move it over here. So this is basically scrapping facilities where you can scrap old vehicles. So let's say I'm buying an old hopper ship. There we go. It's an old hopper ship. It's 10 years old. It's pretty bad in terms of wear and tear. So you can obviously fix it. And we'll talk about maintenance in a bit. Or you can send it to a scrapping facility over here. So let's speed that up a little bit while it goes there. You also have the same thing for vehicles. And the one thing that I couldn't actually find, and I'm assuming you do trains in here as well, even though, or train carriages or something in here as well. But even though I haven't seen any of those facilities, like in waste here, you have, there it is. Hang on. A larger facility. Yeah, there we go. I missed that one. See, sometimes you need to drill down. So there we go. So there's one for, basically that's one for the rail. So this one will just do vehicles. That one will do vehicles and rail. And here you can see deconstruction underway. So basically starting some scaffolding over there. You can see people are working, and what that's generating, I thought that would generate mechanical components, electronic components, and things, all, and then metal scrap. But it seems to just be generating mixed waste, and maybe I don't understand it properly. But it seems like we'll need to now move this to the separation facilities and get that out. At least you can see there's lots of metal scrap in that waste, and so presumably that will generate a fair bit of steel for us through the metal scrap process. Now, some other bits and pieces that we have here is an explosive factory, and that is a lead on from the demolition office. But explosives, you can now create explosives, and explosives is basically used in the demolition process. That's basically where you would use it. We also have vehicle repair stations, but basically now vehicles are slowly receiving wear and tear, and they need to be replaced, and they need to be repaired, and all these kind of things. Okay, so now we've got, let's have a quick look at how this thing works. So now we've got some workers there. At the moment, it's saying there's nothing to repair. You can see it requires a lot of resources, plastics and mechanical components and electronic components and electronics and fabrics and steel and aluminum, dependent. I'm assuming that's if you're maintaining airplanes and helicopters and the like. So let's see this bus coming in here. It's currently set to be repaired if it's over 50% wear and tear. So let's drop that to 10%. So now what you can see is this vehicle, they've got vehicles that they would send out to places where vehicles are parked to fix them, or you can put something directly next to it. So you could potentially say something like, where is it? A parking lot, for instance. No, a parking lot's not going to work, but an end station will, or a depot probably will. Yeah. You can put a depot right next to this. You can see in that brown box there, you can put a depot in there, and so you can send a vehicle to the depot where it will be repaired, or within 2 kilometers, a truck will take people to the depot to go and repair vehicles that's parked at that depot. But if you're connected to this, it'll basically stop the next time it gets here, and it should get repaired. So let's see if that guy stops there, what happens. See, operating without issues. Here we can see it is busy going through a repair process. Okay, so it was 12% worn before we started this. So let's see what that wear looks like at the end of this piece of repair work. The others are still all over 50%, so they're not going to repair everything. Now that guy is done, and you can see 0% wear and tear. So that's effectively a way where your vehicles look now nice and new, right? A nice shiny new coat of paint as compared to this guy, which no, they look pretty much the same. But I did see there's graphics that does the change there. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about demolition. So here we've got two buildings. They are art galleries, and I would like to demolish them. So if I go and say demolish with demolition office, okay, we say yes, thank you, I would like to demolish that one. Nothing is assigned to demolish it. We can assign a demolition office over here. I believe, yeah, this one has got everything it needs, so let's assign it. So it works in exactly the same way as construction works. So let's do that. I'll quickly show you. The demolition office is over here. So the moment I hit that button, these guys are making a move to go there. Now, what is interesting to me, and it's not quite evident how the best way to select it, but here you can see the method of demolition. So at the moment, what is happening is it's taking a bus and an excavator and whatever else it may need, and it takes it and it brings it all the way out over here, and it deconstructs the facility using manual labor. The other option is we can demolish that one, and we can assign that very same guy there. Okay, and I just need to say this is Art Gallery 2. I'm pausing it for a second while I quickly say Art Gallery 2. We want to change the method. So now it's going to use explosives and not labor. So you use the workforce or use explosives. So when it uses explosives, it sends a covered hull. I've got explosives somewhere, right? Yes, I've got explosives available over here. And then what it'll do, it'll actually demolish it. And I'll quickly show you the difference. Okay, so let's quickly have a look at this. We've just had a busload of people arrive at the first art gallery, busy, and they're busy deconstructing. So they're basically taking out 122 tons of construction waste, 32 tons of metal scrap, and 31 tons of mixed waste, and it's going to take 505 days. And here you can, no, you can't actually say what it should use there. Oh, yeah, here you can do use explosives. Now, if we go to the other one where we're using explosives, here you can see we're only getting 186 tons of mixed waste, but you can also see it's going to require some explosives, but no construction workers. So 505 days versus construction work days versus straight away collapsed, but you now need to go and sort all of that waste. So now you need to send vehicles to come and grab all of this and take it to various sorting facilities. This one, you can take it probably directly into recycling, but you still will have some mixed waste there. But anyway, you can probably go directly into, so it depends on whether you're separating at the construction site or whether you just want to get rid of it quickly and get it sorted at the various separation facilities. What you will need to do here is a lot of waste trucks to come and move these the 184 tons of waste quickly. Now, we also have fertilities over here. So now this guy is actually currently busy fertilizing this field, right? So it's already sowed. Really? It's already sowed? Yeah. Sowing is done. Growing is in progress. And now it's busy actually adding some fertilizer to it. That one as well. These are still sowing over here. So now basically, and you can look at these tractors, right? It's got a little bit of a sprayer on the back of it, where this tractor over here has got a plow on the back of it. So just a cool little feature that you can see now. But obviously you're going to have a fair bit of issues with fertilizer. So you can do liquid fertilizers directly from just chemicals. Okay, that's the one option you have. The other one is you can use biological waste and generate fertilizer from it. So you can see we've got biological waste here ready to go, and we can just make this and just move this fertilizer to this area over here. Okay, so this one seems to look a little bit different. So what I've done is I've got rid of the synthetic or liquid fertilizers, and now they're basically using the compost fertilizer from our own facility, and that's basically now being used to fertilize. So I'm assuming there are differences in terms of the fertility that is achieved from the one to the other. So if we potentially go and have a look at our fertility ratings here, I don't know how quickly we'd actually be able to see it, but there's multiple different options in terms of improving the fertility. So guys, I think that is basically it. So we need to maintain our vehicles, we need to do demolition, we need to manage waste, and now we've got more tools to identify what is causing issues with happiness and with healthcare. And we also have to do tons more research. So a lot more stuff that has to happen in the early game. I think it'll make realistic mode quite a bit more challenging. It will make the rest of the game more challenging as well, but I think realistic mode specifically would be very, very challenging. And I think there's a lot to still learn in terms of the various chains of production chains and things like that with the waste. Oh, one thing that I forgot to mention, in the Ministry of Industry, I think we can now see full production chains somewhere. Right, here we go. Yes, so what resources are there? So if you go and have a look at that, you can see what are your options for creating a resource and what can you use that resource for. Power is obviously a very abundant one that does a lot of different things. But if we look gravel, for instance, it's created from construction waste using a gravel recycling plant, or from quarried stone using a gravel processing plant, and it is used in a cement plant, in a prefab panel factory, an explosive factory, concrete plant, chemical plant, cement plant, and asphalt plant. So now you've got a lot more information about how to actually do your production chains, and that's another very, very awesome feature that I think is going to help new players quite a lot, and especially maybe to deal with some of the new things that we're managing. I don't know if waste is in there. I haven't actually looked. Yeah, it is. So plastic waste is separated from mixed waste into plastic waste into a recycling facility, and there you can see what you can use plastic waste for. But yeah, so you can burn it for power, burn it for heat, just generally burn it, or you can create plastic from it. So there you go. I think that is very good, and I would love to hear your thoughts on what you think about the new update. That's it, guys. Thank you so much. If you've enjoyed it, please hit that like button. See you next time. Bye-bye.